week I'm sharing 3 healthy balanced bowls. Right now summer produce is just shining. We have tomatoes, cucumbers, courgettes, aubergine, peppers. I always say this, September is the juiciest time of the year in my opinion. I'm going to be sharing this honey and thyme halloumi, creamy pesto butter bean and roasted aubergine bowl. I've got this garlic and chili prawn, Brazil nut herby rice, charred corn and spicy cherry tomato bowl. One of my favorite balanced bowls today. I've also got the most amazing muhammara, giant couscous and chickpea salad, griddled dukkha cauliflower bowl. The full recipes for these bowls can be found in my latest ebook, which is called Balanced Bowls. It is available over on my website along with all of my other recipe ebooks. These ideas that I'm about to share are so special, created with love and joy in the kitchen. I hope whilst you're watching that translates to you and you feel the desire, the motivation, the inspiration to step into your kitchen and create. Let's jump straight into the first bowl. Let's do it. By the time you finish watching the steps for this bowl, you are going to want to run out to your local store and grab all of the ingredients immediately. If there's a bowl that has it all, this is the one. This is my honey and thyme halloumi, creamy pesto butter bean and roasted aubergine bowl. The details in each of the dishes in this bowl is what makes it so fantastic. I think pairing anything with honey and thyme halloumi will make it fantastic, but no, the creamy pesto butter beans is one thing that you definitely have to try. It's been a complete lunchtime changer for me. And I mean, come on, you just cannot go wrong with roasted aubergine. It never disappoints. Do love a good piece of freshly cooked halloumi. There's nothing like it, nothing that compares. I'm gonna make some honey and thyme halloumi. So I've got some fresh thyme and of course I've got some honey. I'll probably have a few of you wondering what a replacement of halloumi can be. And I guess there's no kind of vegan alternative, but you could of course use like a vegan cheese that you enjoy, or you could use like a piece of tofu and kind of season it really well and cook it. That would be delicious. It's that time of the year where we're using the queen of summer herbs. We are using basil in absolutely everything. I say this all the time, but basil just feels like a natural mood enhancer. I can literally feel the effects of basil when I'm cooking with it, when I'm eating it. It's truly amazing. Other ingredients for our creamy pesto include yogurt. We're going to be using some tahini. When we make our creamy pesto, we're going to combine it with the butter beans. Butter beans have a very kind of creamy feel anyways, so combined with the creamy pesto, yes, beautiful. So we're going to roast up some aubergine. Aubergine will just soak up all of the flavor, all of the spices that we're going to use. Right now, my tomato selection is crazy. They are fully flourishing. So make the most of them whilst they are juicy, whilst they are tasting absolutely delicious. So to top the bowl off, we're going to be using some pine nuts. We're just going to gently toast them till they go golden. And yeah, toasted pine nuts just work so well for this bowl in particular. So to begin, we are going to prepare our roasted aubergine by simply just chopping our aubergine into kind of like chunky cubes. Then we're going to place it in a bowl and we're going to add all of our flavor. So we're going to give it some good salt, and then we are going to combine it with the roasted aubergine marinade, which includes spices like cumin and coriander, garlic powder, oregano. Basically, we are going to make this roasted aubergine absolutely delicious. So we're going to place our aubergine on a lined baking sheet and we're going to place it into the oven and we're going to roast it until it is looking something like this. By the time I was ready to serve this bowl, I had about half of the aubergine left because I had been just too tempted. It was so good. So preparing this creamy pesto couldn't be more straightforward. I grabbed my mini food processor and I placed in the fresh herbs along with all of the creamy ingredients. So the yogurt and the tahini. I added in some lemon zest with the remaining ingredients before blitzing everything until I reached my desired consistency. This is definitely something that can be made in big batches. This could be used for so many other things. But yeah, for this recipe, we're combining it with butter beans. I think butter beans are one of my preferred beans to combine the creamy pesto with. It just works really, really well together. So for this honey and thyme halloumi, we're going to chop our halloumi into kind of like large pieces, and then we're going to combine the marinade, so to speak. So the honey, some lemon juice, and some fresh thyme. We're going to pour that over the halloumi. This could be done anywhere between like 4 to 1 hour before cooking it, or if you want to cook it straight away, it will still be yum. It will still be delicious. I placed my halloumi into the pan and just cooked until it was golden, drizzling over more of that leftover marinade, and oh my goodness, just the sight of this halloumi alone is doing it for me. I finished by toasting some pine nuts until they were golden. So the only thing left to do was to plate up this gorgeous, stunning bowl. So I placed on those creamy pesto butter beans, which are a great meal prep lunchtime option, by the way. That roasted, full of flavor aubergine, the honey and thyme golden halloumi with those toasted pine nuts, and I added a little bit of salad on the side, so some chopped cucumber and cherry tomatoes, scattered with some more fresh herbs, some basil, and oh my god, just devoured this bowl. I really enjoyed this one. Look at those butter beans, oh my goodness. I guarantee that this bowl is going to leave you speechless. This is my garlic and chili prawn, Brazil nut herby rice, charred corn, and spiced cherry tomato bowl. I think it's one of my favorite balanced bowls to date. It has these elements that beautifully just merge together. Looking at this bowl alone, just based on all of the vibrant colors, is just going to lift your mood. You can only imagine what eating this bowl is going to feel like. This is what real food, real nourishment is about. So this bowl calls for the freshest, juiciest ingredients you can get your hands on. We're going to be needing some cherry tomatoes for our spiced cherry tomato dish. One of my favorite elements from this bowl is the Brazil nut herby rice. Adding Brazil nuts to your herby rice is an absolute game changer. We're going to chop up tons of fresh coriander, use lots of lime juice. Once you try this rice, it will be on repeat in your kitchen for sure. This charred sweet corn not only fits really well in this bowl, but also is great as like a barbecue side. It's so delicious, so simple to put together as well. So my choice of protein for these bowls are going to be these garlic and chili prawns. This option can be easily adapted if you don't do prawns, but you'd rather something like chicken or maybe a plant source of protein. You can easily swap this out. For our magical Brazil nut herby rice, we're going to begin by chopping up our fresh coriander. I know coriander isn't everybody's favorite herb, so if it's not, you could definitely swap the coriander. Maybe you could use a combination of basil and parsley. That would work really well. And then we are going to very slowly take our time and finally chop our Brazil nuts, almost shredding them. So we're going to take our cooked rice. I'm using basmati rice, that's just my preference, and we're going to place it into a bowl, and then we're going to place over all of the other ingredients. So the chopped coriander, some spring onions, finely chopped Brazil nuts, some black pepper and some sea salt, a good squeeze of lime juice, which is just going to bring the fresh coriander to life. And then we are going to, of course, swirl on a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just mixing everything well until we see our rice just become this gorgeous, deep green, vibrant, just I want to eat right now looking type of rice. So this charred corn, I think it just ties everything together in this bowl. It just gives it a little hit, a little sweet crunch, which is just really beautiful. So you could definitely use tinned or jarred corn if you don't have fresh corn. That would work for this as well. So I took my corn and I placed it on a griddle pan until it started to look something like this, until it started to just cook and just get this like lovely charred color on it. So I removed the cooked corn from the pan and I simply just chopped away the kernels from the cob. So the next step was to make this spiced mayonnaise. So I just combined all of the ingredients in a bowl, just mixing it well. I also roughly chopped up some parsley because that's going to go in this recipe as well. Spicy, sweet, crunchy, all of the elements that you could want from a corn salad. This one definitely delivers. There is nothing better than a tomato in its prime, as in season, tasting like how a tomato should really taste. So I am making use of these tomatoes whilst they are around, and one of the ways which I love to prepare them is to make this really quick kind of spiced cherry tomato dish, which can be added to any bowl, any recipe. It will just top it off and make it delicious. I grabbed my pan and I placed in the red onion with the garlic, just cooking everything down, allowing all of those flavors to fully release. And then I placed in the cherry tomatoes. Believe me when I say adding in a little bit of jerk paste to these tomatoes is just going to take it to another level. So yeah, just very patiently, gently cooking everything before placing in some fresh rosemary, seasoning with some salt and some pepper. You're going to be left with the most fragrant, delicious tasting, so simple to prepare as well, spiced cherry tomatoes. Last step for this bowl is to prepare our garlic and chili prawns. Like I mentioned, you can swap out this source of protein if you want to, adapt it, work with something else that suits you. So yeah, I just grabbed preheated my pan, cooking down the garlic and the chili and some butter, adding in some thyme before throwing in the prawns, which I had kind of pre-soaked in some like lime juice and some salt. This dish is truly amazing. It comes together in minutes. It's delicious, cooked down in that buttery chili garlic sauce, punchy, bold flavors. Yes, please. I love it. You know the drill. The last step is to serve all of this beautiful, gorgeous, made with love food. Just looking at this bowl alone makes me feel joy inside. If you taste it, if you decide to recreate these recipes, you will know what I'm talking about. So I topped mine with some avocado, some red onion. That Brazil nut herby rice has my whole heart. It is delicious, along with that sweet and crunchy corn chard salad with that mayonnaise dressing, those spiced cherry tomatoes topped off with those garlic and chili prawns. This bowl is truly something special. If you're ever lost for inspiration or just feel like, good food that makes you feel good has to be bland and boring, well, this is a testament that it doesn't have to be. You can work with so many wonderful, natural, creative spices, flavors, herbs, and create really, really gorgeous, beautiful food that you actually enjoy and that you actually want to eat. This bowl is completely vegetarian, can easily be made fully vegan if that's your thing. If you want to add an extra hit or extra source of protein, feel free to. This is my incredible griddled dukkha cauliflower, giant couscous and chickpea salad, and mohamada bowl. Flavors that you've never felt before. This one is going to tick every box. Like all of the other ideas that I'm sharing, this one is great for meal prep. The giant couscous and chickpea salad can definitely be prepped beforehand. In fact, it gets tastier over time. And the mohamada, oh my goodness, this will honestly be a game changer when it comes to dips in your kitchen. For our giant couscous and chickpea salad, we're going to be needing, of course, some giant couscous, which can easily be found in most supermarkets these days. If you can't get hold of this giant couscous, regular couscous could work, or if you want a gluten-free option, you could definitely opt for something like quinoa. So we're going to be needing some cooked chickpeas. These could be pressure cooked, they could be tinned, they could be jarred, just some good cooked chickpeas. So we're going to be working with some olives. No surprise, I had to bring out the Kalamata olives. They're one of my favorite types of olives and they work so well in this salad. Kind of like cherry on top ingredient in this delicious salad. We're going to be using some feta. And of course, this recipe would not be the same without lots and lots of fresh herbs. So we are using a huge variety of fresh herbs for this. For our griddled cauliflower, we're going to be using a dukkha spice blend. And you'll see it is just absolute perfection. And for the star dip of this bowl, the mohamada, we are going to be needing some red peppers. We're going to be using some walnuts and some pomegranate molasses, along with a whole list of other ingredients. I think this dip might just be my very favorite thing right now. I made a huge batch and it lasted for days. It is incredible. So starting with the giant couscous and chickpea salad, I began by just very gently toasting the couscous. This just makes it golden. It brings out the flavor before pouring in the water and just letting everything simmer and cook down. So I began by chopping up all of my fresh herbs. You can really just go based on what type of fresh herbs that you enjoy. I diced up my cherry tomatoes and then just kind of like sliced my Kalamata olives. These were of course pitted olives when I bought them. So yeah, just combining everything for this couscous salad. I just placed all of the ingredients into a bowl, topping with some extra virgin olive oil, some extra spices, some salt, lots and lots of lemon juice, and just combined this beautiful, gorgeous looking, gorgeous tasting giant couscous and chickpea salad before topping it with some feta to finish. Like I said, this works perfect for meal prep and will keep well in the fridge. So onto this heavenly dip. There are a few steps involved, but believe me, it is worth it. When you try this dip, you will know what I mean. There are so many variations of a mohamada dip. I'm sure that all variations are just as equally delicious. Now, to remove the skin, a really simple, easy technique is just to place them in a bowl with a lid on, and then the skin is just really easy to peel away once you leave it for a few minutes. If this step is all a bit long-winded for you and you just don't have the time to roast the peppers, these days in most supermarkets you can find readily available roasted red peppers. So I love to toast my walnuts before putting them in. I think just toasting walnuts just, when they release those flavors and they kind of have like that golden tint on them, beautiful, gorgeous, delicious. So into a food processor, I placed in my peeled and de-seeded, I should have said, red peppers, along with all of the other ingredients. So some garlic, pomegranate molasses, some other wonderful spices, some breadcrumbs, the walnuts. The best way that I can describe this dip is that it is this full-bodied, packed to the rim, full of these wonderful ingredients. You've got the crunchiness from the walnuts, which obviously break down when you process them, but then you have that wonderful walnut toasted flavor. Then you get this sweet and sour note from the pomegranate molasses and lots of lemon juice. If you're serving it sharing style, you can top it with some extra walnuts and some parsley and a good drizzle of olive oil. Cauliflower, as we know, is just one of those really versatile vegetables. You can create something really special from a basic piece of cauliflower, and this is a really effective, easy idea, which I absolutely adore. So I prefer to chop my cauliflower up and steam it before placing it on the griddle pan. So yeah, I grabbed my steamer, steamed the cauliflower for a few minutes, and then seasoned it well with all of the seasonings, including the Duca spice blend, drizzling with a little bit of olive oil before placing on the griddle pan and just cooking. Remember, because it's steamed, it's kind of like cooked. We're just kind of finishing it off, giving it that really gorgeous golden color, just making it extra delicious with all of the seasonings on top. So I served this bowl up. We have that giant couscous and chickpea salad with all of the extra spices that I added to it, with the Kalamata olives, the saltiness from the olives, the creaminess from the feta. Then we have that Mohammedan dip. I was using this dip for days on end after. Like I said, I made a huge batch of it, and then topped with that griddled Duca cauliflower, all of the spices from the Duca seasoning. Feel free to add some extra protein, whether that's animal-based, plant-based, do your thing. There we have it, 3 incredible bowls full of color, full of flavor, full of life for you to try out during your week. Let me know which bowl is standing out for you, which one is just calling your name. Maybe there's an element in a bowl which you have to try straight away. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I hope these ideas have given you lots of inspiration. The full recipes for these bowls can be found in my Balanced Bowl ebook, available over on my website. I'll see you all in my next video. See you all soon. Bye.